let's just start talking about the basketball side of this, right? I said yesterday was the last day for mourning. I meant it for me and for this channel moving forward. We watched the press conference. It was sad. It's time to move on and just discuss. These guys are going to lace him up, step on the basketball court, and play basketball. So it's time to dive into it for the Dallas Mavericks. I look at their team with AD, with Max Christie now, who, again, I've said this and I'll say it again. The moment this trade happened, I had several friends of mine who are Lakers fans, watch every Lakers game. They all texted me, messaged me, whatever. And one of the one thing all of them said was, you guys are going to love Max Christie. Like, that was the one thing that they all said, which I thought was hilarious. But you look at this team, and it's interesting, right? Because they felt their window was now, and they made this trade because, one, they didn't want to pay Luka $350 million. That's that. They didn't trust him. They didn't trust his conditioning. They didn't trust his ability to recover from injury, and they were worried that him not taking it seriously whatsoever was going to lead to more injuries down the line. Is that justifiable? I don't think so whatsoever. I think you just hold on to that guy, and whatever happens, happens. Because you're not going to replace him, right? You're just not. You're simply not. Now, with that in mind, with that being said, we haven't seen Luka healthy in a year. We just haven't. That much is true. We have not seen Luka healthy in a calendar year. I mean, when did Luka start having knee problems last year? Haynes tweet. We got a Haynes brief. Sources: Jimmy Butler camp has reportedly told he's in shape, healthy, and ready to continue his career and move past this immediately. Their messaging to Heat has been to negotiate best deal possible and wants in red zone if that team is granted permission by Miami to speak with Butler's rep to discuss his long-term future. That dialogue would be welcome. To date, no team has asked for permission. So Jimmy's walking all this back? Is that what that sounds like? I'm done with the Jimmy Butler shit. Like, brother, you're done. It's over for you. We don't care anymore. We've moved on collectively. Your sad saga, which is sad, we're done. It's fucking embarrassing, and we moved on. Mavs, send us to the Shadow Realms with the $5. Something random with the 10. Probably my last super chat here. It was fun supporting you and spend a few bucks here. Although I'm a Luka fan, it was fun. It hurts having to leave, but Mavs. But I think I love turn to hate. I'm out. Peace. Well, that's unfortunate to hear, but thank you, something random, for all of your time spent here. Why can't Jimmy say no to trades but not Luka? I'm annoyed at the Jimmy Butler saga. Jimmy Butler demanding a trade is cool and all. I'm annoyed at the saga. I'm annoyed as to how fucking annoying it is. Okay? But anyways, this Mavericks roster, they've opened up their window to be now. I look at this team and I do not think this is a championship team. Full stop. For a multitude of different reasons. Reason number one is offensively, you need another creator badly. You just traded maybe the best offensive engine in the league. You just traded one of the best offensive players of a generation. You can talk about defense all you want. At the end of the day, losing a guy who can go out any given night, no matter the defense, and score 30 points and have 10 assists is fucking next to impossible. Actually, probably impossible to replace. Did you upgrade defensively? I've seen tweets that have been like, the Mavs aren't even that good defensively. No, you've upgraded defensively, and your team's going to be nasty defensively. On paper, at least. It should be. Logan with the 5. Hey, Slides, my last message here in the Slide Delusion Club. I'm a huge Markieff Morris fan, and where he goes, I go. Thanks for the time. Wow. We're losing the Markieff Morris stands, folks. It's over. Thank you, Logan. But the defense is going to be good. And you can, this projected starting 5 of Kyrie, Clay, PJ, Anthony Davis, and Gafford when healthy, this season at least, and then maybe towards the end of the year or going into the playoffs or next year, you can throw Derek Lively into the 5 spot. You have Lively and Anthony Davis as your starting front court. That's nasty defensively. PJ as your starting 3. I think that's nasty defensively. Then you have Clay and Kyrie. It's not the best defensive backcourt, but you can throw in Max Christie for Clay. You can throw in Quentin Grimes for Clay. And all of a sudden, you have 4 good to great to elite, best in the world level defenders. And Kyrie, who's, not great defensively, but also, not horrific, right? And I'm not saying anybody involved in the trade is a horrific defender or anything like that, but you've got an all-world elite, potentially the biggest difference maker on the defensive side of the basketball, outside of maybe Victor Wembanyama, in the form of Anthony Davis. So you're defensively, you're going to be great. And then you even have some, versatile lineups now where I'm assuming closing down, they've already mentioned this, but down the stretch, closing wise, Anthony Davis at the 5. You could go Kyrie, Clay, Christie or Grimes, PJ, and Anthony Davis. And that's a great defensive group with a lot of versatility. So defensively, you're going to be fantastic. You're going to be good at rebounding the basketball. Now, the problem is offensively, on the offensive side of things. You've been struggling offensively during this stretch without Luka Doncic since you went down with an injury on Christmas Day. Now, I've been trying to say this since the injury. It's very difficult to look at this, their numbers since then, because they've been dealing with so many injuries. It's not just Luka, but they've been dealing with so many injuries over the past month or so of the season. Right? Luka and Kyrie being called the best offensive backcourt in NBA history, and they might have been. How are you going to replace that? Well, Anthony Davis is not a slouch offensively. Like, it's not like the Mavs traded for Rudy Gobert. Anthony Davis is not a slouch on the offensive side of the court. You give him the ball in the post. I'm already envisioning situations where, especially closing games when AD's out there at the 5, closing games where AD is posting up or AD is attacking the rim, the defense is collapsing in, and Klay Thompson is shooting a wide open 3. Kyrie Irving is shooting a wide open 3. PJ Washington is shooting a wide open 3. I think offensively, you're gonna take a pretty big hit. I've listened to some Lakers film guys on AD. They basically said, yeah, he's not stretching the floor much, so good luck with the scoring. Yeah, I mean, the potential starting 5 of AD next to another center has huge spacing concerns. However, AD at the 5, I think you're still fine, spacing-wise. You can surround him with 4 shooters. You'd still have 4 shooters surrounding AD that the Lakers did not have. I want that to be clear as well. The Lakers roster, and we'll get to them, fucking sucks. It fucking reeks. You understand? So the Mavs are going to provide him with more floor spacing, especially when he's playing the 5. You can stretch AD out to the perimeter as a stretch 4. His shooting's not good enough. So if you have AD and Gafford on the court, that does provide some spacing concerns. He wants to play the 4, and he'll have opportunity to play the 4 here, but he's going to close as the 5. He's going to close as the 5, and I think he'll be fine with that. I don't think he wants to play the 5 all the time. I mean, I guess they're 5th in the West currently. That's fine. All of the advanced under the hood numbers does not say that the Los Angeles Lakers are a great basketball team. Okay. He can shoot theoretically. Yeah, I mean, sure. So the Mavericks, since December 25th, when Luka went out with an injury, 7-13. They have the 26th in net rating over that stretch. 21st in offense, 26th in defense. So over the past month or so, they've been one of the worst teams in all of basketball. Now, granted, there is a couple of completely and totally punted games there that have affected the results here a little bit, you know? We only see your depth chart if you are showing something else. No, I'm just looking at stats here off to the side. This is the Mavericks since December 26th. It's been bleak. It doesn't help that the Mavs have been dealing with so many other injuries as well. What do the Mavs do at the end of games? Down 3 now. Pray to God Clay is an 0 from 9 from 3 that day. I mean, this is going to be a challenge offensively for the Mavs. And the question is, do you have faith in Jason Kidd and figuring out the ways to make this work offensively? I don't quite know how the answer to that question could be yes, to be honest with you, all things considered. If we can beat OKC with AD, we can run through the West. This is why I'm so. You wanted to be a team that is contending between now and the next 2 to 3 years. I don't think offensively you're going to have the chops. I don't think you are. I don't think you are. Like, what, Kyrie's not anywhere near, and I love Kyrie. He's not anywhere near the playmaker Luka is. You don't have anybody internally on your roster who can replace that or even come close to replacing that in the aggregate. And then if you go out and you look at the trade market, there's not a lot of guys available. Who's an offensive powerhouse the Mavs can swing? I don't know. But again, defensively, you're going to be fucking rock solid. You are. Max Christie's great. It makes me think Quentin Grimes could probably get traded between now and Thursday, or involved in a deal at least. But Ingram doesn't get you. The Mavs are just going to look so fundamentally different than what we've seen them look like. Like they just can't. They can't do all of the stuff that they can't do all of the stuff that they were doing previously. You don't need one guy offensive powerhouse. Look how the Celtics won. Yeah, but you need a guy who can right the ship when you need it. The Celtics could put out lineups where 4 guys on the court were like good to great playmakers. The Mavericks aren't going to be able to do that at all. Kyrie's a good playmaker, teetering on great playmaker. I'll even give him that. And then up and down the roster, who else do you have? You know. Now, I will say the Mavericks offense had been clicking a little bit as of late. They had 2 games in a row where they scored 130. 2 games in a row where they shot incredibly well from 3. However, I mean, look at these numbers right here. The Mavs were 12 points per 100 possessions better this year when Luka was on the court. I mean, this game against the Cavs is fucking up their net rating and stuff like that. You know, this game doesn't count. Nobody played. The Detroit game was horrific. Turnovers. You put up 137 against the Pelicans. You put up 130 against the Wizards, who aren't really a basketball team. You put up 121 against the Thunder in a game a couple weeks ago. So you've had some good offensive games recently. But I struggle to see offensively how you're going to make this work. It's going to be a lot of Anthony Davis drawing in double teams and kicking and swinging the ball off of that. Kyrie drawing double teams, kicking and swinging off of that. I do think Kyrie and AD will play off each other pretty well. Obviously, I think Luka and AD would be incredible next to one another, but that's obviously, you know. But I do think Kyrie and AD will play off each other pretty well. I think you could see something similar to what you've seen from time to time, and hopefully we see more of this, which is AD in the post with Kyrie one pass away. Kyrie inbounding the ball or throwing an entry pass to AD and just being one pass away and basically daring the team to double and just forcing that team to make perfect rotations. We saw that where Luka would get an entry pass from Kyrie one pass away, Luka post up and just daring the defender to double team. You'll see that quite a bit. Clay's going to be a lot more important to our offense now. Yeah, and I do think Clay's going to shoot a lot of threes off of AD double teams and stuff like that, and the ball swinging around. They could have traded anyone but Luka for AD, and we would have been happy. Yeah. Thoughts on PJ, AD pick and roll with Kyrie, Clay, and Chrissy spacing the floor? Yeah, I mean, I think that could be an interesting thing as well if you do a big pick and roll pretty much with PJ and Anthony Davis. Now, I do worry about PJ's ability as a ball handler, but if you flipped it and AD's handling the ball, which we've seen like LeBron set screens for AD, so that could be a thing, and PJ operating in the short roll. I do think that's interesting. I think PJ's good enough as a playmaker in the short roll to kick the ball. Is my mic tripping? Move the ball around and hit shooters. I think offensively, you probably have maybe a league average offense now. Maybe. Maybe you have a league average offense with what is an elite defense. Like, no two ways around it. But yeah, the problem is we're going to find ourselves in playoffs. And I mean, assuming they make the playoffs, you're going to find yourself in playoff games where it's Max Christie's going to be needing to knock down a huge three. Quentin Grimes, assuming he's still here, you're going to rely on him to knock down a big three. PJ Washington, who can be a little inconsistent with his jumper. I mean, he's having a fantastic season, but can be a little inconsistent with his jumper. He's going to have to make a huge three. Percentage chance we make another move before the deadline? Man, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Why no mention of Najee? I'm not sure Najee's going to be here. I'm just being straight up honest with you. I'm not sure Najee's going to be here. But Najee as well, yes. You trust Max or Maxi more? Max Christie. In terms of three-point shooting? So here's the thing, too. Max Christie, who admittedly, I'll listen to Lakers fans. I mean, I've watched Lakers games. I've watched Max Christie. I haven't paid too much attention to him, just full transparency. But I'll go off of what Lakers fans are telling me. Max Christie is a more reliable... tweet. Oh my God. Oh, my God.
Heard he has been unwilling to me to confirm, but league sources tell me that the San Antonio Spurs are De'Aaron Fox's perfect.
I'm the source now. We have a trade, ladies and gentlemen. We have a trade to report, and it does involve the Dallas Mavericks. Will you believe it or not? Will you believe it or not? The Dallas Mavericks have made another trade. The Philadelphia 76ers are trading Caleb Martin to the Dallas Mavericks. Caleb Martin is on his way to the Dallas Mavericks, folks. What is the return? Derek Lively? Kyrie Irving? PJ Washington? Me? Am I involved in the trade? We'll have to wait and see, folks. But, oh, my God, they're playing in Philadelphia right now. Wait, what? They're literally playing in Dallas. Or they're literally playing Philadelphia right now. Wait, what's the trade? What's the trade, Shams? Dallas is sending Quentin Grimes and Philadelphia's 2025 second-round pick back to the 76ers for Martin. Oh, no, Grimes. No. Oh, my Quentin Grimes. No. Oh, they're ripping my heart out. They're ripping my fucking heart out. Oh, no, 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 no. Straight up, I like this trade immediately. Just my initial reactions. I like Quentin Grimes. I like this trade right off the rip. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Here's a couple reasons why. Max Christie, and I said this on Twitter. Max Christie absolutely made Quentin Grimes tradable. Max Christie's under contract, a very friendly contract, mind you. I forgot the exact number, but it's a very, very team-friendly deal for Max Christie, whose skill set definitely overlaps with Quentin Grimes. And I do think Christie, and I was just about to say this, so you guys know I'm not bullshitting. I do think Christie's better than Grimes. I don't know how different it is, but Christie $7 million this year, $7 million year after that, $8 million, and then a player option for $8 million. So very, 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 very team-friendly deal there. Keep in mind, Quentin Grimes is a restricted free agent at the end of the season. And the Mavs probably thought, we have Christie here. Like, we don't know what Grimes' market's going to be, you know. There's no real point. Caleb Martin, I think, is a pretty good basketball. Mavs Filmer on Twitter response, LMAO, this is horrible. I mean, it's objectively not. I will say, I'll shit on Nico all you want about some other trades. I don't think this is a shitty trade whatsoever. Caleb Martin, $8 million this year, $8 million year after that, $8 million year after that, $9 million player option. Martin is pretty good basketball. Martin's a pretty good basketball, man. Caleb Martin is 29, 9, 3, and 2. Grimes is 24, 10, 3, and 2. LMAO, dumb trade. I mean, that's one way to look at it. You can also look at it and say Quentin Grimes is a restricted free agent, and they probably didn't want to pay him, and they have Max Christie now. So let's look at it like this. You feel Max Christie can sort of replace what Quentin Grimes brings to the table, and now you're bringing in Caleb Martin to help you out defensively on the wing. I think Caleb Martin probably isn't as good offensively as Quentin Grimes, but anyways, I think this trade makes a good amount of sense to me. Grimes is a much better three-point shooter than Caleb. Yeah, but again, I think Max Christie just eats into Quentin Grimes minutes. Like, I mean, that's just it. Quentin Grimes minutes get eaten into by Max Christie pretty easily. Grimes' playmaking is much better than Caleb's. A point guard has to be coming right. I don't know about much better. Man, it's going to be hard to recognize some of this team. Yeah, I mean, this is one thing about Nico. He's not afraid nor shy about making trades. So now let's look at it. They brought in Max Christie and said, oh, that eats into Quentin Grimes minutes, so let's make that trade. You bring in Caleb Martin, well, that probably eats into one of your wings minutes. So Najee Marshall for a guard now at this point. I'm honestly not mad at Max Christie pickup. They have 30 guards then. I mean, they have guards on their roster, but how many of the guards are guards that you can actually realistically rely on? That's the thing. Like, yeah, they have Jaden Hardy and they have Spencer Dinwiddie. Sure. But are those guys that you're like super confident in? Caleb Martin hasn't been good since that fluke Miami Heat finals run. No, I mean, Caleb Martin's not a perfect player at all. But I'm looking at this from a team building perspective as well. If you didn't want to match Quentin Grimes or the market got to a point that you were scared of, then you replace him with a guy who's under contract for the next 4 years. And if you maybe want to make a bigger trade in the summer, now you have Caleb Martin's contract. No, I know there's no... I'm seeing that nobody seems happy. Nobody seems happy with this trade. Sixers fans don't seem happy with this trade either. So, straight up downgraded and also gave up a pick. I mean, I think they're pretty close, man. I do. I would say Grimes has definitely been better this season, for sure. But the Mavs got off of a restricted free agent that they maybe didn't know what his market was, nor maybe that comfortable paying him, and got a guy who's on a very, very team-friendly contract. So Tim Hardaway Jr., 3 second-round picks for Caleb Martin. Is that a good trade-off? Well, that's not the best way to look at it because you would also have to add a Najee Marshall to that because getting off Tim Hardaway Jr. helped open up the mid-level exception. So it's Quentin Grimes, or it's Tim Hardaway Jr. and 3 second-round picks for Caleb Martin and Najee Marshall. Is that a good trade-off? Yeah, that's a pretty fucking good trade-off, I would say, actually, all things considered. Back above the tax for 9 points per game, 2 assists, Caleb. How is that any good? I mean, Caleb Martin's still a good defender. And again, is on a very team-friendly deal. And again, I'm telling you guys right now, I was literally in the process of saying it. Max Christie is going to cut into Quentin Grimes' minutes. Max Christie is going to end up playing more than Quentin Grimes. That's it. Sorry, Jake Fisher just said Martin is viewed as negative money. Well, clearly not. Can they continue Marshall? Can they combine Marshall and Grimes in a move this deadline? Who's going to tell them? I'd assume they're probably still looking for a guard, yes. Max Christie's not even close to the player Grimes is. That's just objectively false, dude. For what it's worth, the Celtics mutuals on my timeline love Caleb Martin being off the 76ers. Well, yeah, he's a Boston Celtics murderer. It's inexplicable. Martin is mid as fuck, bro. Yeah, I mean, they just traded mid for mid. I mean, Quentin Grimes is like a solid role guy. Yeah, they got him to beat Boston for sure. Grimes was not mid. He was slightly above average when we gave away a second round pick for mid. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if it's just things are in such a bad state. It's just impossible to just talk on here. I don't. If Grimes were on a 4-year deal that was $8 million, $8 million, $8 million, I would fucking despise this trade. I would despise this trade. Yeah, Caleb Martin's been out with a hip injury, but he's been practicing, so he's probably going to come back soon. Grimes is expiring and will ask for a lot in the offseason. But Grimes is 24, guys, not 29. I think that they probably assessed the Grimes market and probably thought, yeah, we're not sure, especially with Max Christie here now. We're not sure we're all that interested in paying Grimes whatever he might command as a restricted free agent. So they turned that into a guy who's a solid role player who's under contract for longer on a team friendly deal. So we just being cheap? Maybe, but I think there's it's more so, again, Max Christie cuts into Grimes' minutes. Kind of dumb. Grimes is a solid player. I mean, Caleb Martin is a solid player. Cheap. Trading Luka is also a money-saving move. Let's be real. I mean, unless I'm missing something, doesn't this trade put them back into the cap, into the tax? They were $6 million under it. I thought they were like 500,000 under it. Are the Mavs going to make any more moves? This can't be the only one they make. I'm sure they'll try to find a guard. Grimes is straight up better. Grimes has had a better season than Caleb Martin for sure. Caleb Martin is among several Philadelphia 76ers who haven't been able to get on the floor lately. Throughout the year, Martin has battled multiple setbacks, with his latest taking him out of the game for a few weeks so far. Just how long will the trend continue? Maybe it ends this week. According to the official NBA injury report, the Sixers upgraded Martin for their Tuesday night matchup against the Dallas Mavericks. While it's not a sure sign he'll play, as Martin has seen his status upgraded during the stretch only to be ruled out, the Sixers can still be hopeful. I'm progressing well, Martin told reporters after a Monday practice session. It's been a little bit longer than anticipated, but it's doing a lot better. I've been just trying to stay on my stuff and progressing each day. So it's definitely getting better. Today was a better day, and I feel like I'm definitely heading towards the right direction for sure. Earlier in the year, Martin's shoulder bothered him to the point where it was hard not to notice. Still, he received a lot of credit for pushing through it during a season when the Sixers have struggled to find consistency in the availability department. The current setback is described as a right hip sprain. According to the injury report, while Martin is typically known to play through injuries, he opted to take a different approach this time around, suggesting he would have been a liability on the court with the lack of mobility. I've typically played through a lot of stuff, and it's just one of those things that I just couldn't. So I'm glad I've been doing rehab and making progress these days, so hopefully I'll be making a return soon. So he has been out, but all signs point to him coming back soon. Mavs now $3.3 million over the tax, but 1.2 under the apron. So they went over the tax to do this, which is interesting. Which would probably tell me there's another move coming. I'm hearing no speak of Najee as a guard creator. He's had many great scoring and passing games this season. Najee's better as a secondary creator on the court. Najee being a primary ball handler, I think, leads to problems. Dallas Mavericks for PJ Washington, personal reason, has been downgraded to out. Versus Philadelphia 76ers, my man PJ is heartbroken. PJ Washington and his wife had a child. Let's congratulations to PJ and his wife. Our average age just gone up even. I mean, bro, they've literally told you their window is the next 2 years. So I don't know, guys. The emotions are running so high. Dallas Cato, there is belief, which multiple team league sources expressed to me before this trade, that Harrison does not have a long-term desire to remain in his current role. Oh my God. Would somehow getting Lonzo Ball or CP3 help the offense? Yeah. We're the NBA version of the Rams from a couple years ago. You got on playback tonight? I don't know, bro. I really don't. I really don't know. I'm just like, emotions are running so high that I feel like you can't even talk about things. The Miami Heat were willing to trade Jimmy Butler for Andrew Wiggins and draft picks before Butler shut the deal down. That would have been a pretty good deal, I think, for the Heat, all things considered. $37th pick. What the fuck were we thinking? I just don't get how we're the ones who added the pick. See Markieff Morris comments on the Luka trade disrespect? No, I didn't. I'm honestly think I'm in the stream today. Nico here just to destroy the Mavs. Yeah. People are getting mad at second round picks. What a timeline I live in. People are mad at everything. There's no that you can't talk about anything. It's over. It's done. Like I don't. It's just. People are mad, like absolutely, and it's completely and totally understandable. Don't get me wrong, but would you like to see the Mavs move in the margins? Maybe Sexton? Yeah, sure. Y'all remember Brunson and Luka? You see Bill Simmons' tweet? God, this shit's crazy, bro. I mean, this trade to me makes sense from the angle of Max Christie is going to take Quentin Grimes minutes. This from Michael Scotto. The addition of Max Christie is noteworthy given the Mavs and Quentin Grimes were apart during extension talks before the season. So Grimes, who they didn't know if they were going to pay in the offseason, I mean, I'm just looking at it from their perspective, gets moved in a deal that has a guy who's under contract, is a little bit bigger, can probably guard a position up from Quentin Grimes, and gives them a little bit more positional versatility on the court. Do you like Quentin Grimes next to Maxey more than Martin? Yeah, Quentin Grimes would be nice in Philly, I think. Luke is now the face of the league at LA. He's going to be up there, as face of the league for sure. I mean, I don't think this is a terrible trade at all. So I think the Mavs can beat OKC in a playoff series. They need a fucking guard, man. I know Grimes was restricted. I get that. Did you mock Caleb as a trade? Did you mock Caleb in a trade this prediction season? No, I don't think I did. You've all at the 5. Latest trade was good. Grimes is going to big pay in the summer. Think they'll go Ingram for PJ and Gaff? Hell no. I think Najee's probably on the block. If they were to get a guard, I would say Najee Marshall is gone. Like, that's what I would say. Don't worry, Sally Bias. People are mad at giving up trades for PJ too. I would say Amanda Quickly plus Pirtle for D-Live. I mean, there's a salary cap that exists. Najee for Schroeder in a 3-team trade when the Warriors finally find their guy. That's interesting. I mean, that wouldn't make me feel great. I think I would rather go for a guy who's under contract. I mean, Ben Simmons as a buyout guy, you could do worse. I don't know if he fits this Mavericks team at all, but so unless I'm wrong, I do not think the Mavericks have a single second-round pick anymore. Aren't you glad you don't have to read about anymore? Maxi Kleba says that he'll be reevaluated in 8 weeks, which will determine if he'll be able to return this season. Yeah, I mean, the Maxi being somebody that you heavily relied on this team had reached its end point. Why the delusion in this chat with people thinking the Mavericks are going to make a run in the playoffs this year is fucking hysterical. I mean, can you point me to where the fuck you're seeing that? Like, did you see one person in the chat say that? We must be reading different chats. So that second round pick is probably 30s this year. It's not a bad pick. No, it's not a bad pick. But, I mean, I'm telling you, these LA people are delusional. What a bunch of degenerates. Martin's been out for a while, but it sounds like he'll be back very soon. The Mavs aren't trading PJ. He's one of Nico Harrison's guy. I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if PJ Washington gets traded. Do you think we could get a top 10 pick this year? No. PJ gets traded. I'm sorry, slightly. I'm gone. PJ getting moved would just be fucking flabbergasting. I would be flabbergasted. I can't imagine the vibes in the locker room is good. I just can't. I mean, trading away Luka out of nowhere. Quentin Grimes, who seemed like a pretty good vibes guy, traded out of nowhere to the other team that you're playing tonight. Guys, PJ Washington's out because his wife had a child. They had a child, okay? Like, we know that for sure. Levy is trying to justify Martin for Grimes. What does your chat log look like? Held for review. Okay, let's see. Whoever said that Grimes was too inconsistent. So you're just not going to address the fact that Luka looks thin and there's no fucking way the planet he's 270 pounds right now. Nick is a lying piece of shit. Who's Nick? Mavericks aren't going to make the play-in tournament. So how does this work if they in the same arena? Do the Grimes go play with the Sixers today? Yeah, I don't know. If Grimes plays tonight, that would be kind of interesting. I mean, he might though, right? Right? Like Grimes probably plays tonight. He can't play without a physical. Yeah, but they can get that done pretty quick, can't they? Keegan with the 199. Lively plus PJ plus first for Kuzma. He's a Nico guy. I would not rule out the Kuzma thing still. I wouldn't rule out the Kuzma thing. I have no fucking clue. I wouldn't rule out anyone. He don't make sense with the timeline. Who doesn't? Lively? Oh my God. Lively's not getting traded, surely. Imagine we get Kuzma. I will hate myself. Lively's not getting traded. I think he's actually like a key piece for the future. But I mean, obviously I thought Luka was a key piece for the future. So who the fuck knows? Nick's take. What do you think about the Mavs trade for Caleb Martin? I'm not sure the Mavs get better here. Will be fun to watch y'all discuss it. I mean, I don't know if it moves the needle for them at all. I think it gives them a guy who can play up a position from Quentin Grimes. They probably think Max Christie is going to give us better minutes than Quentin Grimes would have, or at least very similar minutes. So now we just have two redundant players on our roster, and Quentin Grimes is a free agent in the summer, and we don't know how that's going to play out, and we just would rather not even go there, and we'd rather just get the guy who's under contract for 4 years. So that makes sense to me. Like that, all that makes sense to me. That this trade actually makes sense to me. If this trade happened without the Luka trade, I think the reception around it would be 10 times different, obviously. I'm not sure. You know, did the Mavs have to include a pick in this? I don't know. I guess every team in the league knows you can just ask Nico for a second round pick and he'll say yes. I guess that's where we're at. You know, I guess that's just where they're at. Yeah, Caleb Martin, like the 2023 playoffs was a dream run, and that was really against the Celtics. Like, yeah, Nico might give me a second round pick. They gave up a second round pick in the KP trade for no reason whatsoever. Gave up a second round pick in the Luka trade somehow. Like, how the fuck did that happen? I'm not sure how you have to give up a second round pick in this trade. I'm not sure. We'll see. Pelinka convinced Nico that Luka wasn't worth anything. Don't be surprised if other GMs try to manipulate him now. Second round picks are meaningless, though. I think in the grand scheme of things, people overreact to second round picks. Max Christie better be playing well. This just put a lot of pressure on Max Christie. And I'm gonna be real. I'm not sure. I'm not sure Caleb Martin is safe here necessarily. You'd rather have more wings than guards. That's the reality. You'd rather have more wings than guards, and they just got Christie, who again it's redundant with Quentin Grimes. In NBA, only front office, Denver Nuggets doing nothing. Yeah. I think they're using Martin for larger trade. I have no fucking clue. I mean, I genuinely have no idea. I was on the phone for 30 minutes with I won't say who, and what they told me is funny if true. Well, you have to expand on that, V-Loan. I mean, you can't just come in here and say that. That protected 2029 first we sent for Charlotte for PJ looking real nice. Yeah. They're not trading Lively, guys. Actually, I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, the AI video of kid choking out Nico is fucking funny. I usually think all of those AI videos are trash. That one's pretty funny. That one's honestly pretty funny. Don't think we trade Gafford for a secondary ball handler besides Kai. I don't think that's impossible. I don't think that's impossible. Remember when you said 2011 trade deadline was the most insane ever? I've got news for you. No, I didn't say 2011. I said 2015 was the most insane trade deadline at the time, but then that got surpassed by 2022's or 2023's trade deadline, which saw KD and Kyrie getting traded. But this one's going to be up there. I mean, this one already is the most insane trade deadline we've ever seen. Lonzo, another trade? Are you guys just fucking around? You guys are just fucking around. I don't see that anywhere. Thanks, Light, for giving us a place to grieve. I don't know. I've done nothing but taking Mavs content since the trade. The pain will be internal. I'm not jumping ship. Reeves for Gafford trade? No. Caleb Martin has not played since January 10th due to hip and groin injuries, not beating the hospital allegations. Let's see what else is coming. Do you think Najee can be developed into a good enough ball handler to play secondary to Kai? No. Jane Hardy can. Oh my God. What is my life? What is my sports life? What is my sporting life? What is my sports life? Yeah, they're fucking around about Lonzo. That was a pretty good one, though. I mean, that was a pretty well-coordinated attack there. It got me a little bit. So let me explain. Let me explain right now. The Luka trade's, the Luka trade's terrible. I mean, understand this. So I agree there, right? But if I'm taking the emotions of the Luka trade out, and then I look at this deal, I don't think this is a bad trade. I really don't. I mean, is Quentin Grimes having a better season than Caleb Martin? Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. And I think Quentin Grimes has more juice than Caleb Martin. Max Christie's 21 years old, I believe. And again, on an incredibly team-friendly deal. And absolutely, a huge, massive redundancy next to Quentin Grimes. Right? About to turn 22. But Quentin Grimes and Christie are pretty similar. Pretty similar in that they both show flashes here and there offensively. The three-point shooting can be a little bit, shaky. Defensively, just from the tiny bits I've seen and from what I've heard from Lakers fans and what people have told me, I do think Christie's probably better defensively than Quentin Grimes. In fact, I would say he's almost certainly better defensively because I think he can guard up in a way that Quentin Grimes can't. So that helps you out there pretty. That helps you out there pretty substantially. And if you feel like Quentin Grimes is now kind of redundant, we like Max Christie. Max Christie's under a very, 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 very team-friendly deal for the next 4 seasons. Grimes is a restricted free agent in the summer. Let's see what's out there on the market for him. Oh, we can get Caleb Martin, who's more of a wing and can also guard up defensively and is somebody who's been very good in the playoffs. We know that for certain. Somebody who has some playmaking chops, but very inconsistent with his 3-ball and just inconsistent in general. But a dirty work wing, where you generally cannot have too many dirty work wings. So we make that deal, and Caleb Martin's under contract for the next 4 years. 3 after that. 8 mil, 8 mil, 9 mil. I get it. Like, I get that trade. That trade makes sense to me. Like, this trade actually makes sense to me. Would Mavericks fans be happy if it were just Grimes and Luka and draft assets swapping for Christie and Martin? I guarantee you we'd be calling Nico Harrison the GOAT GM online. Well, yeah, but I mean, that's not what happened. It's all theoretical because we don't know how this Mavs team now looks on the court, so it's all whatever. Yeah, I mean, everything. The moment you react to a trade, it's all just... Y'all trying to be the 2004 Pistons, it feels. Yeah, they're really going for defense. Mavs gave up the 38th pick today. The Sixers have been playing better. Embiid's going to be back at the end of the week. Like, they're trying to make the play-in tournament and hopefully make the playoffs. I don't care what the Mavs do. They could trade for Giannis, and I'll still be so sad that I cannot bring myself to stop boycotting them. It's fair. I think they probably have to get a guard. I think they have to between now and the deadline. And I think now Najee's on the table, right? I mean, he has to be. He has to be. I mean, Kobe White, Lonzo, Jordan Poole. Jesus, can you fucking imagine? Can you fucking imagine? Can you fucking imagine Jordan Poole, man? The reaction to Jordan Poole getting traded to the Mavs, who's making what, $30 million? I mean, let's just play a fun little game. Let's just play a fun little game, man. So one thing I've noticed is Nico Harrison doesn't give a flying fuck about fans or the emotions that go with basketball. He doesn't care at all. I mean, he's trading any and everybody. Like, there's no point in getting... This is one of the shit that really sucks from a fan's perspective. There's no point in getting connected to any of these guys. Dwight Powell is the only guy who remains on this roster from 2 years ago, before the Kyrie trade. That's it. Like, it's just... Best defensive three-point percentage. I've said this a million times. I don't give a single shit about the stats like that. I don't care about defensive field goal percentage. It's a stupid fucking stat. It's a stupid stat. KOC with Jason Gallagher did a fun exercise pretending to be Nico and proposed PJ, Gaff, and Najee plus picks for Zion. An all-time hypocritical trade. Could CJ be an option? Contractually, it's hard, but I mean, he makes around the same as Jordan Poole. So let's see. Like, this is just funny as fuck. Like, think about, they already got Caleb Martin on here. Think about how nightmarish the scenario would have to be. Well, $30 million. I mean, this would probably have to be close to your starting point, and then I think you'd have to... I mean, I guess just include Exum. And even then, I don't know if this really works because then you'd have a roster spot. So you'd have to get a minimum guy back in return. Patrick Baldwin Jr. Come on down. Oh, wait, you can't even fucking do that. I mean, like this would have to be the most disgusting ass trade ever. The repercussions and consequences of this Luka trade will still affect the Mavs 20 years from now at minimum. It's possible. If the Kings are truly selling, should the Mavs target Malik Monk? I mean, Monk would be cool, but the Kings are not selling. My absolute dream target for the Mavs is Luka Doncic. I really believe we can go out and get him. That would be great. Jesus, man. What about Jimmy? I mean, I don't know how the hell the Jimmy trade works now. I mean, this is the biggest heat check we've ever seen from a front office, I think, right? Just the biggest heat check we've seen. Hey, last trade deadline, I predicted Caleb Martin to be traded to the Mavs, actually. So I'm always right, just a little bit early. Mavericks team identity, size. The more size to throw at Jokic in Minnesota and the Suns and LA and the Clippers, the better. A lot of long-term risk, but the team is quite good right now. I'm telling you, I think this Grimes trade makes sense. Nico playing Euro Life 2K. Yeah. Main go with the $2 person. I think Gaff greater than Lively and Sexton equals perfect. I mean, I don't think Gafford's better than Lively. Gafford's been great, though. Norman Powell's not getting traded. Gary Payton II does not move me at this juncture. Gafford a demon. That's why he's going to the Nuggets. I don't care how much. Terry Rozier. Fuck it. Sure. I mean, I've thought about Anthony Simons more. I don't know what trade makes sense for the Mavs or for the Trailblazers side of things, because it's $25 million. So the Mavs would have to give up some pretty important shit here to make this happen. And then I think about the contracts they'd have to use to get there. And I'm not sure why Portland would entertain that, really. So I said, one thing I did say was they're not trading Clay because the business side of it, the relationship side of it, there's just so much shit involved that, that would just be such a bad look. Now they don't give a, they clearly don't give a fuck about anything like that. So Clay, I think, is probably an option to get traded. I mean, if you're in that locker room, I don't know how you operate. Bogdanovich is one that I kind of thought about, a guard with some playmaking chops and self-creation chops and can definitely shoot the lights out. The problem is he's had a terrible season. And again, you kind of circle back to the guys you give up is a little bit weird. And he's having such a bad season this year that I'd be really hesitant to do that. But he fits the new timeline. He does fit the new timeline. Middleton's making too much money for a trade to make sense. Kobe White for Gaff works. So I'm not sure why the Bulls would do that. Unless they trade, I mean, even if they trade Vucevic, I'm just not quite sure why they would do that. It would have to be, I mean, you can make a Kobe White trade work actually kind of easily. Najee and Exum or something. Najee and Dwight Powell. If you really just want to go there, Najee and Dwight Powell, I think, makes this work contractually. You've got 3 first-round picks that you can move off of now. Why don't they have the Lakers 2029 pick here? That could be interesting. Bobby Portis, no. Yeah, the Utah guards are definitely a possibility, I would say. Because it's protected? Really? Did they protect that 2029 pick? If Luka managed to come back someday and win a championship, would that be greater redemption story than Dirk or not quite? So here's one thing that I'll say. Is all the people I've seen that are like, it wouldn't feel the same if they win a championship, blah, blah, blah. Which I agree. It would not feel anywhere near the same with Luka. Here's the thing is when you go on a playoff run, we saw this last year. You had so many different great moments. The PJ standing on business. Like you go on a playoff run, crazy things happen. Crazy stories happen. Crazy memories happen. If they do win a championship, you'd have so many memories tied to that run that, it would be worth it. It would feel great. Yeah. It's not like they would just walk out on the court like this. Then walk off the court and there'd just be nothing to remember. He was homegrown, that's why it hurts. Absolutely it hurts, man. Absolutely. You've got the Jazz guards, Colin Sexton, $18 million, Jordan Clarkson, $14 million. You can get to there contractually. The $14 million, the guys in this range now become a lot more interesting to me because now if I'm Najee Marshall, I'm not sleeping well at night over the next 2 days. That much is certain. You cannot, if the Mavs were to move Caleb Martin, you can't aggregate his contract anymore. In an alternate universe, would you feel the same about the Mavs 2011 title if it was KD coming to town for Dirk? Oh, of course not. I would still cherish that championship, though. But of course, I wouldn't have felt the same. No, I agree that I wouldn't have felt the same. Like, that much I agree with. Cam Thomas, why not? Nico was so disgusted about Mavs making the finals. He said, watch this. So, the Mavs don't make this trade unless Max Christie's here. I want you guys to know that. I don't think they do a Quentin Grimes. I don't think they say Caleb Martin's better than Quentin Grimes, and we're going to bring him in to do similar stuff. They only make this trade because they have Max Christie now. That is it, okay? Malcolm Brogdon trade, gross. I'm not going to lie to you. I like the idea of going after an Anthony Simons. And from what I was researching in like my trade deadline preview thing, whatever, was that the cost for him might not be high. Now, the Trailblazers have been hooping lately. But the cost for him might not be high. The only problem is Defensively, you'd have a problem. Kyrie, Anthony Simons backcourt defensively would be a problem. But also, I just getting there contractually is really fucking hard. Really hard. It's just really hard. Don't you think this team is becoming more and more kids Bucks? Yeah, Anthony Simons is one of the better pick and roll guards in the league. I like Sexton way more. He has great energy. Sexton is a possibility. Brogdon would suck. Cole Anthony, I've never. Cole Anthony's name gets brought up all the time. I've never really been in on it, but I mean, I guess. MFFL Nation. Marcus Smart's absolutely possible. I was thinking that. So much so that I was researching, like, the Marcus Smart. This? I already know this. Suggs, not happening. Simons wouldn't fit their defense wins championships. Yeah, that would be a tough sell right there. Hey, we traded Luka because defense wins championships. Here's Anthony Simons. There's been belief, which multiple teams and league sources expressed to me long before this trade, that Harrison does not have a long-term desire to remain in his current role as GM. I saw that. Harden's not available for a trade, man. Do you know what's been going on with the Magic lately? They crumbling? Yeah, they suck offensively, which I would like take a small little victory lap over this. Now is not the time because people shitted all over me for saying I think Jason Kidd's a fine head coach. And then people said, what about Jamal Mosley, what he's doing on the Magic? And I was like, the Magic aren't that good. Like, the Magic are terrible offensively. So, I love Jamal Mosley, but there's no point in even doing this. Ozzy with the 499 is a Mavs fan in Houston. Harden was probably at the strip club every game and they kept him until he no longer put up MVP numbers. Yeah. You think you're in a big game of a playoff series? Kyrie picks up a fourth foul in the last 2 minutes of the second quarter. What do the Mavs do offense while he sits for a prolonged time? Yeah, that's the big time problem here. Or even when Kyrie goes to the bench, what is your offense going to be? Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of fucking Spencer Dinwiddie unless they make a trade. Oh my God. You feed AD? Yeah, I know, but God, the Mavs have such a hard time making fucking entry passes. Why would the Kings trade Keon Ellis? Yeah, I have no clue. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what's next. I have no idea. I don't fucking know. I really don't. I have no idea. No idea whatsoever what this team is going to do. None. How the fuck could you? It's impossible. It's impossible to predict. They could be done. This could be it for them. And they sort of maybe check the buyout market or something for a guard. Them being over the luxury tax now is interesting to me. Because I partially feel like they might try to get under that. Which I don't know what that would look like. Take a game on Terry Rozier, no pun intended. Dude, that would suck. I'm sorry. I like Terry Rozier in Charlotte. It was a fun player on a shit ass team scenario, but I have no desire for that. Use your contacts and find out. You want me to? I'll text right now. I'll text around. I'll ask around. Shams bomb.
Heard he has been unwilling to me to confirm, but league sources tell me that the San Antonio Spurs are De'Aaron Fox's
I'm the source now. Ban whoever said that. You think Butler gets dealt? I have no fucking clue. Sorry, man. I see no one here believes last year I sent you a message when you were in distress, when we were losing. The Rockets have no chance. You watched last year games, who's in the bag and who is carrying. You plan to do a chat on trade deadline day? Oh, yeah. I'll be live at 8 a.m. And we'll be live all day. I'm sure it's going to be a great experience for me. Can't wait. Can't wait. Can't wait. Scary we haven't heard from Kyrie. I mean, he's at shoot around and stuff. Najee. Brandon Ingram. Oh, man, alive. I mean, what really sucks, this is what sucks from a fan's perspective, is this team is just so, I mean, the roster turnover is crazy, man. You can't get attached to any of these guys. You just can't. That takes away, like, the best part of being a fan of a sports team. Isn't that not nuts? Like, I think this is a psychotic GM at a level, the likes of which I don't know how often we've seen. I don't know how often we've seen a psychotic GM like this. No emotions. No emotions. Cutting the plug on anyone. Like, I don't know if we've ever seen that. This is a historic heat check. Historic heat check from a GM who said, yo, I made the finals. Look at the moves I made along the way. I'm trading Luka. I don't give a fuck. Like, what the fuck? Literally, Dwight Powell is the only guy who's on this roster from opening night of 2023. Doug, that's 2 years ago. Opening night 2022-2023 season. He's the only player left. That's not even that fucking long ago. You realize how crazy that shit is, man? Oh, Hardy. Hardy was there as well. Hardy was there and Dinwiddie was technically there. But Dinwiddie left and then came back. Hardy and Hardy and Dwight Powell, a rookie Jaden Hardy, do the Suns roster. Off the top of my head, it might just be Book. We've done that before as well. It might just be Book off the top of my head, right? Book. Damian Lee, right? I think Damian Lee was on their opening night roster that season because he hit a game winner against the Mavs on opening night. 2023, opening night of 2022. Jesus, I mean that's it as well. Was Grayson Allen there yet? No, Grayson Allen was part of the Nurkic trade, wasn't he? I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. You don't want to like. We laugh at these teams because this shit's not like that's not how you win. It's not how you win. D-by Nico forced out, didn't bring back guys like Jalen Brunson, Casey Smith, Igor, etc. to force Luka to be the bad guy and force his way out. I don't know. It's definitely possible. It's definitely possible that Luka, that Nico was kind of prodding Luka and wanted to trade him and maybe sabotaged him along the way. How do you feel about Gaff, Hardy, Clay Najee, and 3 firsts for KD? Why the fuck not, man? Seriously, why not? Why the fuck not, man? Sure. Sure. What the hell is your team? Like, what is your team? What is your team in that trade? Is that even possible? I know financially it's possible, but the Mavs would have to. The Mavs would have to what? Like make. It'd have to be a 3-team trade where the Mavs get someone. And what's crazy is if the Suns are trading KD, but they're still trying to be competitive, I think that's a deal they really do consider. My God, 51 mil. What was it again? I mean, how do you get there? All right, let's just got to have Clay, got to have PJ, and you still have to make up 19 mil. So Gafford and Najee, and that still isn't enough. No, so not Najee. How does this work? Yeah, it would have to be a 3-teamer. I mean, dude, if I'm the Suns, I'm getting like 3 real legitimate rotation players here, maybe even 4. So what? Your team would be what? Kyrie, Christie, KD, Caleb Martin, Anthony Davis, and then who is playing? Who's coming off the bench? Like, okay, hey, that's a good starting 5, right? That is a great starting 5 actually. Kyrie, Christie, Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin, KD, and AD. All right, hey, you know what? That's actually a championship level starting 5. That is a championship level starting 5. Oh, and then Lively's back for the playoffs. Kyrie, Max Christie, Durant, AD, Lively. Oh, okay. All right. Who's coming off the motherfucking bench for you? Spencer Dinwiddie, Caleb Martin, Dwight Powell, Omax, Exum. You've got no wings coming off the bench. Kessler Edwards. Yeah, Kyler Kelly's going to be getting minutes. Hardy. Yo, I'm not going to lie. That team's kind of nasty, though. Like, that starting 5 is disgusting, bro. That starting 5 is gross in a good way. And you just say, this is it. Like, this is our team. You have to win between now and the next 3 years. And that's it. Why are we even speculating KD right now? You have to put yourself in the mind of the most psychotic GM we've seen in quite some time. Isn't it a 3-year window when Nico backed himself into a corner with the first round picks? Yeah, I mean, yeah. Any trade is possible now, absolutely. I mean, I'm trying to think. Like, let's brainstorm. Let's brainstorm a 5-team trade or a 3-team trade that can make this work. Where the Mavs would have to also get something out, like KD, and then can we find another role player somewhere out there? Like, could we tack on? All right, what are the Pistons up to? What are the Pistons up to? Kevin Durant goes to Dallas. It's so fun. You know what's funny is this is so fucking dumb. This is so dumb. And I would say there's a 0% chance this shit in any universe happens. But you know what? It might in this universe. It might in this fucked up universe that we currently find ourselves in. Anything's possible now, bro. I mean, anything is possible, bro. KD's hold on a second. Let's look. Kevin Durant, Nico Harrison relationship. All of these are just from the last few days about the trade. I need something that goes beyond that. Can I? Nico Harrison on his relationship with Kobe Bryant while working for Nike actually didn't trust me at first. This article popped up. Is Durant in here? No. Thank you for this fucking article popping up. I mean, I feel like they had to have some type of relationship, being that he's at Nike. Yeah, we need to figure out. Like, it would be great if someone could compile a list or something of all the guys that Nico Harrison is friendly with. So Kevin Durant to Dallas. It's so fucking stupid. Clay, PJ, holy shit. Gafford, and what, Najee to Detroit? What else could the Mavs, like, is there something, like, what is Fontecchio? What is he worth on the market? I don't really know. Fontecchio to Dallas. Phoenix is a Sin receives something from Detroit. How about a second to make it happen? Send to Detroit. This trade currently fails. Why is that? The Mavs would need to shed $4 million. Mavs are trading 4 guys and getting 2 back. I don't think they could trade another. So let's just get rid of the Fontecchio piece. Okay, this still works. Because the Pistons have cap space. But I think they would want a guy. Is the problem is I think they would want another guy. So maybe you add a 4th team. You have 2 more exactly. You have 2 more players. And how do you get there? How do you get there? Because financially, I think you'd be fucked. I don't think you could even sign mid-level or league minimum guys. So maybe you get a league minimum guy here. Jesus Christ. Need to take a Suns minimum? No, I don't think the Suns could even do that. The Suns can't aggregate contracts, so the Suns couldn't do that. Because how much over the second apron are the Suns? The Suns could do it if it got them under the second apron. But aren't they like tens of millions over it? 10 million over? So they could just oh my God, Nurkic is 18 mil, bro. What a fucking shit show. I was gonna say maybe you pawn off Nurkic to. This isn't happening. This is not. I'm telling you right now, and I can say this with absolute confidence. You can clip me if you want. This is not a KD to the Mavs trade. 0% chance. It's not happening. Absolutely not happening. Paul with the $4.99. Thankful for you, Silent Bias. You've been a safe space for all of us during the overnight hostile takeover, evil supervillain ego trip of our beautiful team. What about Brandon Ingram? Ugh, I don't want that, dude. I think you would, in a hypothetical scenario where the psychopath GM says our window is right now, like we can't fuck around anymore. Kevin Durant makes at least some sense in my brain. Some sense. That makes some sense. Stein. The Bulls have received trade interest in Lonzo Ball all season, but sources tell Steinline that they have not been eager to trade him and are resistant to buying Ball out if he remains a Bull past the Thursday deadline. Okay. Raptors, Najee, Mavs, KD, Suns, Clay, Gaff, PJ, and Abaji, then whatever picks. The Mavs would have to get something back, though. Like, they would have to. They would have 11 guys on their roster. Beal fits our timeline? Yeah, dude, fuck it. Sure. Beal, I mean, who else? Nurkic? Like, let's just run 3 centers. Sent you something on Twitter DMs. If they trade for Kuzma, bro, I'm going to fucking lose it. NBA insider praises Mark Cuban on Jason Kidd and Nico Harrison hires 4 years ago. I mean, dude, they made 2 conference finals in the NBA finals. Like, I don't. Was that worth potentially taking the franchise forever? Probably not. No. Because of Luka? Well, the conference finals, yeah, I would say because of Luka. The conference finals one, I could pass off as kind of fluky. And a lot of the pieces that got you there were already there. Now, and I think I want to say it was a great run. I think Nico lucked out a little bit by Spencer Dinwiddie doing what he did in the playoffs. But the Mavs, the finals run last year was a really well put together team. They made the swing for Kyrie Irving and it paid off dividends, right? They drafted Lively, fantastic pick. Kind of fell into your lap, but still, you made the trade. And then you made a smart draft day trade as well to move down in the process. Then you also made a smart draft day trade that night to move back into the first round to take Omax, who hasn't really panned out, but that's still a great process right there. And then deadline moves. PJ and Gafford were fucking home runs. And yeah, you got lucky on Kuzma. A lot of it's luck. I mean, a lot of this shit's luck. The Lakers are the luckiest team there fucking is. You have Rob Pelinka as flowers? No. No. Absolutely not. Their team sucks. Their team sucks. They're in Los Angeles. They're the Lakers. No matter what, people want to go there. That's it. I mean, they have everything besides the center now. The Lakers, shooting is an issue for them. Perimeter defense is a major issue for them. I don't think this Lakers team is very good. Now, if they made it, if they got I saw Nick Claxton floating around. Okay, that's interesting. If they could swing, a real game-changing center that does change things for them, but I don't know if that's available. They've got Connect and they got Reeves to shoot. Luka obviously is 10 3-point attempts on his own, but if they get Claxton plus a good 3-and-D wing, it's over. Yeah, but that feels impossible, but I don't know. Ozzy with the 199, most plausible Luka trade conspiracy. There's not a conspiracy. There's not a conspiracy, man. Dude, what the fuck is this website, bro? So when you look at the generational talent of Luka Doncic, potentially and what could be in the coming years in free agency, I'm wondering if this is one of the main reasons for bringing in a Jason Kidd for someone else, that potentially we could see a Kevin Durant opted out of Brooklyn Nets if they win the NBA championship next year and entertain Dallas, Texas, knowing he played for Texas back in 2007. That's it, though? There's no, talk about their relationships. Man, this was 4 years ago. So you're saying there was no backroom dealing going on? I really don't think so. Why are you taking up for Nico now? How am I taking up for Nico, guys? Please tell me. I'd love to know. I would love to know. So you don't believe in the whole Vegas Mavs thing? No, not at all. I don't believe in that one bit. Even looking to press this a trade? I know. I mean, I know. Well, from Luka hater to Nico defender in delusional fans' eyes. Yeah, I mean, that's just... Paul with the 499. Pelinka's an idiot savant who has failed over and over again. Lakers, the trust fund kid who succeeds no matter what because the rich always get richer. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be someone who wants to play with the Lakers. Look how fucking bad they were the last bit of Kobe's career. But guess what? It didn't matter. Because LeBron wanted to play there. That's it. LeBron wanted to go there. Problem solved. AD wanted to go there. Because clutch sports. Problem solved. Championship, here we come. Because guess what? You have those two guys, now everyone wants to go there, right? Then, you know, your teams aren't bad. Like, the Lakers haven't been terrible, but their rosters aren't great. You know, they've let some guys go they probably shouldn't have let go, KCP being one of them. They made trades that were completely and totally inexcusable. The Russell Westbrook trade, which LeBron James forced, basically. Then they traded away Russell Westbrook, brought in D'Lo in a trade, which I'm still to this day confused. Maybe there's reporting why they couldn't have gotten Mike Conley in that trade instead, which just made way more fucking sense. And now, you have a GM who's just on an insane power trip and wants Anthony Davis so bad that he trades you Luka Doncic. This move literally so the GM could get credit for something. He's a closeted DEI snake. Fuck you, Nico. What does DEI have to do with this? Because he's black? Like, is that why we're saying DEI? I don't really get it. Yeah, I know. Just DEI everything, huh? I'm going to start saying DEI after every loss. Man, this was a DEI-ass loss. Don't you think that if their timeline is 3 to 4 years, they aren't willing to trade injury-prone Lively? And Derek Lively is not safe, bro. If Luka Doncic gets traded, how can you call anyone on the team anyone on the team safe? Like, none of them are safe. None of them are safe, bro. Not a single player on the roster is safe. Anthony Davis might be safe. You know what? I'll say this. Anthony Davis, PJ Washington, Kyrie Irving, probably safe. All Nico's guys. PJ Washington gets traded, that would be really, really shocking. That's it. Anyone else probably can go. Is this where the Lively Diva turn starts? Maybe. So the Slightly GM series we did over the summer, Derek Lively was a diva. Grace with the 199. Did you see the Cato report? I just joined. Sorry. The one that said that Nico might not want to be here next year or doesn't want to be here long term or whatever. No, Slightly GM was we're keeping Luka no matter what for the remainder of his career, and that's what we did. And how many rings did we win? Do you ever consider not supporting the Mavs anymore, like Gallagher and SJ? I'm kind of with them. This was too much of a betrayal and a disrespect to us. I'll still watch and root for the team. This is the team that have too many shared experiences with. And even trading Luka, it's like, well, that one stings so bad. But, you know, I have shared experiences with Lively that I have a vested interest in rooting for him. Kyrie, PJ. I still like those guys a lot, and we'll root for them. They're my favorite players in the league because I've watched them every game. Did I see the Chris Gristle report? Bro, who's Chris Gristle? Who's Chris Gristle? Who's Chris Crystal, bro? Oh. Paul with the $9.99. The biggest hit that our reputation has been permanently tainted because even after Nico's gone, we'll always be the team that traded Luka. We never had a shot at a marquee free agent, but now it's impossible. The Doug McCrustable report? Yeah, I saw that. That was shocking. The most alarming thing is it seems less and less like there's a grand plan. No way you don't know Chris Gristle. I don't know who Chris Gristle is, bro. Shout out to Chris Gristle. That's not true. We have a shot at a marquee free agent if Nico knew them 10 years ago. That's true. Paul with the $2. Nico hates the casino owners, and this is his revenge. And Nico's on one of the biggest power trips we've ever seen a fucking general manager have. One of the biggest heat checks we've ever seen. Dallas Mavericks are willing to refund tickets now. I think you could always request that. I could be wrong. I will say this. I may not watch a lot of Mavs after this, but I'll still watch your content and interactive live streams. Thank you very much, Nick. The Dallas Mavericks have offered refunds. I saw that. Not gonna lie, if they win it this year, I look at them completely different. Would be hype. Look, if this team, which I don't think they are competitive enough to win a championship, just on paper, but if they do, win a ring in the next 2 years, he looks like a mad genius. Like obviously, you could still call the trade a loss, especially if Luka goes on to do great things with the Lakers. You could call the trade a loss still, and you'd probably still be right. But Nico, what you would have to say, I mean, Nico, I mean, fuck, it worked. Like it did. Like the goal is to win a championship. Why do you think they aren't competitive enough? The Mavs, I don't think they have enough offense. Their defense is going to be really good. They don't have enough offense. What do you think about the matchup against OKC now? Is losing so much self-creation in order to gain size on them really a net positive for this Dallas team? I mean, AD Gafford, AD Lively front court's going to give the Thunder some decent amount of problems. But the thing is, the Mavs will probably turn the ball over 35 fucking times in that game. So that's what I have a concern about. Now, of course, the Mavs are 3-1 against the Thunder this year. And interestingly enough, all three of those wins were in the games that Luka missed. So, you know, but also granted, I think in those 3 wins, Chet obviously didn't play in any of those. And Hartenstein, I think, missed 2 of them. So I don't know what you can really take away from that. Streaming the Lakers on playback is definitely a possibility. How do you feel about Cato's comments of Nico not being committed to staying his role as GM? I've already touched on this, but I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know who's saying that. I don't know. What is with the Kirk Mavs CBA being so over the moon about the Mavs being irredeemable? I'm not gonna lie. I had to mute some accounts just for the time being. Just as I say, you know what, I'm still gonna be rooting for the team. So I think I just have to mute some accounts. And I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying anything. It's just. Will you be interested to see if you get more views on Mavs games or Lakers games? It'll be Mavs games, if I had to guess. Oh, there's nothing wrong with being a fucking doomer. Like, this shit's doom and gloom. Okay? Now with the $5, the only way to make a run is to trade for Trey or LaMelo. Besides that, just blow this shit up. Let's go get Boozer next year. Would you be muting the accounts if Luka didn't get traded? No. Another Stein tweet. So I saw this and I had an opinion on it. Dallas remains hopeful Anthony Davis abdomen can make his debut Thursday in Boston, but also concedes that it may have to wait for Saturday against Houston. The Lakers, meanwhile, have waited Saturday's matinee against Indiana for Luka Doncic's debut. That's not that much of a surprise because that's kind of when Nick and I theorized Luke would come back. So that's not really that much of a surprise. Carlos Boozer at the 4 next to AD would be sick. Oh, yeah. If the Mavs have watched if the Lakers have done any scouting on Luka and the Mavs, they should not play him in that Indiana game. They should not play him in that game. That should not be his debut. Would Avdia fix our problems? No. Avdia's good. Really fucking good. But no. Rick has owned Luka and Luka teams since the departure. Are you actually be streaming Laker games? I mean, it's a possibility. What's crazy to me is Nico saying, let's build a defensive team because that's what wins championships. Yet Luka murdered the Timberwolves in the playoffs. It's a good point, actually. Where would a 2025 Lakers title rank on the biggest screw-ups in NBA history? Oh, man, if the Lakers won a title this year, that'd be number one. I mean, that's... I feel good knowing that I've had some basketball people DM me about the Grimes trade that know way more than me and have said that the Grimes trade's not bad at all. Well, with the $5 just tuning in, let me guess, everyone in chat hates the Martin trade and yelling at you like you did this and have done forever. Am I right? No, everyone did hate the Grimes trade, and I did say I didn't mind it at all, and I did get screamed at. That did happen. Chris Gristle just Z'd me? Oh, shit. Am I about to start a beef with Chris Gristle? Kyrie's reportedly staying. Nico's buddy too. Remember that? Yeah, Kyrie's staying. And also the Mavs will give him a contract. And I don't know how many teams in the league would do that. Chris Gristle with the 5. Shout out to Chris Gristle. Oh my God. Chris Gristle. Shout out to Chris Gristle. What the fuck is wrong with you guys, bro? Dennis Schroeder just compared the NBA trade deadline to slavery. I have been recording